Coming up on today's show, we got some good news, and unfortunately, we got some bad news to talk about. Both of these things could affect the 2025 NFL season for the Baltimore Ravens, and I'm going to break down each of them in just a little bit. But the question is, do we want to start with the good or the bad news? As a kid, and my parents said, you know what, we got good news, Joey, we got bad news, Joey, which do you want to start with? Whenever I got asked that question, I don't know why, I was always a bad news first. I always wanted to get the bad out of the way. That way we wrap things up with the good, and that's where we're going to start on today's show. It's my show. I'm making the call. Let's start with the good news, the bad news. And this is that Beau Brade is injured. Now, we don't know the severity of it yet. We don't know the extent of his injury. We don't know if he's perfectly fine or not. Because unfortunately, yesterday, Jonas Schaefer tweeted this out and said Ravens safety Beau Brade left today's practice about an hour and 40 minutes in after a collision on a deep ball. He was helped off the field with an apparent lower body injury, though it seems like he could put weight on both legs. John Harbaugh's not talking today, so no update. Now, this does just flat out suck. Like, no sugarcoating to it all. I think the only silver lining that you could say about this is that it was an injury from a collision and not a non-contact lower body leg injury. I think that's the silver lining of it all. But if Beau Brade was going to take that next step, that step that we were all anticipating from one year to the next, and if we were anticipating him to be the Ardarius Washington replacement that we've talked about, another safety that had an injury, now his is obviously more severe, this might have just derailed that. And not just because he's a guy that might be injured and you might not see him for a little while, but he's a second-year player. Those guys need these OTA practices. Those guys need mandatory minicamp. Now, we, again, don't know how long he's going to be out for. Knock on wood, he could be back tomorrow. But as we're sitting right now, unfortunately, it's not looking too great. Do not jinx it. Do you want Brade as healthy as soon as possible? If you do me one big favor. Like today's video. I'm a little superstitious, so the likes bring good vibes, bring health. Help me out by hitting that thumbs up button. When you look back to last preseason, which is where we saw most of Beau Brade, I absolutely loved him. 16 tackles, 8 stops, forced fumble, a pass deflection. He was all over the field. He played with no regard for his body or his health. He was just like an absolute missile. And then you take a little bit of a deeper look at this now new look Ravens safety depth chart, with Ardarius Washington obviously having that torn Achilles and Beau Brade with the unknown injury. Like, it's thin. You got a really, really good group at the top with Malachi Starks and Kyle Hamilton, but your third best player is Sanusi Kane? That scares me a little bit. Now, something interesting did come out of OTAs last week when Jeff Zrebeck tweeted that Zach Orr confirmed that cornerback Jalen Armour-Davis is getting a look at safety. Just part of trying to have as many versatile guys on as possible in the secondary, or said that Armour-Davis might be the smartest guy in the defensive back room. And so I don't want to say that's a little bit of good news of like, hey, maybe he wasn't that much in the running to replace Ardarius Washington if they were moving Jalen Armour-Davis over there as well. But like, at the end of the day, depth is depth, and that unfortunately is something that Baltimore really doesn't have right now in the safety room. And it's freaking June. If Brade is badly injured, right? If they're saying he's going to be out a month, 2 months, God forbid, into the season, go get somebody in free agency. Like, I get it if people are like, you know what, they should go get an offensive lineman. Why don't they go get an offensive lineman free agency? Well, it's pretty simple. There's not that many good offensive linemen there. But that's just not the case with safeties. There's a lot of really good options still left. Justin Simmons, Julian Blackmon, Jordan Whitehead, all three of those guys could come into this defense, could come into this safety room and be a really big piece, be a really big cog, because there is so many opportunities for them. Any one of those guys could come in automatically and be the third best safety on this team. They could possibly start if they want to move Kyle Hamilton to nickel and him be more of a jack-of-all-trades type player. The opportunity is here. Now you just got to get someone in the building. If you had to sign any of those three I just mentioned, pick one to do it. Justin Simmons, Julian Blackmon, Jordan Whitehead. You let me know your answers on who you'd rather sign out of those three guys in the comment section down below. You got a lot of really good options, but you let me know yours. All right, coming up next, we have the good news, and it is there's a new free agent target for Baltimore. Now, who is that? I'll let you know in just 1 second. But before we get to that news, make sure you guys head on over to chatsports.com/Lamar Jersey. You'll find QB1's threads right there for just $80, 20% off. Guys, these are deals that only happen in June. This is like the only time you could take advantage of this because we get into July, training camp happens. We get into August, preseason's here. We get in September, boom, you're into the regular season. You're not seeing another discount until like the next June. You got to take advantage. $80 for a Lamar Jackson jersey. This is an investment. Let's be real. You're going to be wearing this for a very, very long time. And if he keeps winning MVPs, eventually if he wins the Super Bowl, that price is only going to go up and up and up. 20% off, less than $100, $80, chatsports.com/Lamar Jersey. That link is in the comments and description of today's video. All right, let's hear this from Tom Pelissero. The Bengals are releasing veteran linebacker Germain Pratt today per sources. Pratt ranked in the top 10 of the National Football League last season in tackles and was a team captain. Now he hits the open market. It doesn't stop there, though, because Anthony Palacios actually feels like Baltimore would be a really good fit. Here's what the last word on SportsWriter had to say. However, the Ravens are in dire need of a linebacker. The team needs someone like Pratt to fill the temporary hole. Trenton Simpson has been a disappointment this past season, and Pratt could easily win the starting job to streamline this entire Ravens defense, which always does well no matter the circumstances. And you look at Pratt's last 4 years, and he's been really, really good. Now, he is getting a little bit older. He is 29 years old, and I don't necessarily, I'm not in love with the fit, if I'm being honest, and the fact of, Roquan Smith and himself, they're not that great coverage backers. But at the end of the day, we got to think about the depth of the interior linebacker position. I know we're using the word depth a lot in this episode because these two spots don't have a ton of it. At least not a ton good depth, if you get what I'm saying. You just got to look in the middle because we're not talking Owe, we're not talking Van Noy, we're not talking the outside. Right after Roquan Smith is Jake Hummel, a guy you signed from Los Angeles who pretty much only was good at special teams. And then you got Chandler Martin, Jay Higgins, those are UDFAs. Trenton Simpson's still the starter, but behind him, you got your former fourth round pick with Teddye Buchanan. And both of those guys, I don't want to say have question marks, but I'm not full force, full steam ahead. Let's get it going with those two guys yet. Trenton Simpson, I don't trust. I'll get into that a little bit more in just a second. And for Teddye Buchanan, he just might not be ready. I think he'll be ready at some point. I just don't know if it's by this year. In my opinion, get Pratt on the team, 1-year contract, ride with him and Trenton him and Roquan in the middle of this defense and linebacker position. That's a good squad. Now, why don't I trust Trenton Simpson? It's easy because the coaches didn't. Because the coaches don't. 0 snaps in week 15, 6 snaps in week 16, 4 snaps in week 17, and then 0 snaps in each of the playoff games. That means in the last 5 games, 2 of them being win or go home in the postseason, Trenton Simpson, 10 total snaps. There's a reason he wasn't there on the field. It's because the coaches didn't think they were better with him on it. And I get it. He can get better from year over year, but why not bring in Germain Pratt? What say you guys? Let me know. Should the Ravens sign him? He's a free agent. He is open for the taking. You let me know by giving me a yes or giving me no in the comment section. In my opinion, there's just not much to lose when signing a guy like Pratt. You get a good veteran option, a guy who's older, a guy who can compete in the National Football League, a guy who can put up production, top 10 in tackles last season. He might have to cost a little bit, And that's a big question itself because Brian McFarland tweeted this out just yesterday. For those asking about Jair Alexander, this is Germain Pratt. Not talking Jair. We talked to him yesterday. The Ravens presently have $18 million in cap space, but after taking their future expenses into account, they have around $5 million in effective usable cap space for the signings. They do have extension restructure options that would create additional cap space. Here are those options. If you extend Lamar Jackson and Odafe Oweh, which at some point I think Lamar is going to be extended pretty soon, that gives you additional money in the cap, okay? So you can look at that, say, Joey, they got $5 million in effective cap space. They don't have the room to sign Germain Pratt. Well, they have a lot of room if they extend either of those three guys, right? They're probably not going to extend Mark Andrews anytime soon if I had to put money on it, but still, like, they've got the money there. Maybe not right now. Could be soon, but, like, you can always move things around, restructure deals. They could have $15 million like that. Make sure you guys are following me on social media. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram. And the number one place you got to be followed is right here at the Ravens Rundown. Hit that sub button. Join the flock today with over 32,000 of its loyal members.